Hey everyone, it's me, Goku! Don't forget to subscribe to UnrealEntGaming. Here, you'll find the latest Dragon Ball news and content. Also, don't forget to like the video and follow Unreal on both Instagram and Twitter.
Kakarot! You, Kakarot, you will be the first to turn on notifications. And give this video a like right now, or else I'll destroy you!
So with Dragon Ball Super Manga chapter number 101 now officially in the history books, the stage is now finally set for a new story to be told following the initial defeat of Magenta's Red Ribbon Army and Cell Max, as the continued story following the initial events of what was shown taking place during the events of Dragon Ball Super Superhero now progressing on forward, with our heroes now shown regrouping and getting themselves together. The million-dollar question now moving forward is, will the coming events foreshadow what was shown taking place prior in reintroducing Black Frieza, or will this new and upcoming story instead go into a different direction prior to us having to reach Black Frieza? As a quick little reminder before we go any deeper into this video, if you just so happen to be new to the channel and of course have a love and passion for all things Dragon Ball and anime related, then I do encourage for you guys to go on over and smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon to never miss a single video that is posted onto the channel, as well as making sure to go on over and smash that like button down below. And if you would like to learn more and catch up on all of the previous Dragon Ball Super manga chapters that have led us to this very moment in this story right now, then be sure to head on down into the description box below and check out the official Dragon Ball Super manga chapters playlist for tons of additional content and information. So with all that out of the way, I want to thank you all so much for your time, thank you all so much for your support, and now let's dive straight into the video. As we kick off Dragon Ball Super manga chapter number 101, as we now make our way on over into a modern city, as surprisingly enough, with both number 15 and Carmine still shown being alive and driving through the city, it was very obvious by now on what they were looking to do and of course what their sole motive was going to be, as number 15 went on to then chime in, President Magenta's funeral was kinda low-key considering on how much of a big shot tycoon he was. Well, the police might have come sniffing around if it had been an elaborate affair, Carmine responds, and so we can't have that. With 15 responding, Carmine, sir, the Red Ribbon Army is really finished, huh? The secret base got blown to bits and most of the troops are in the wind, with Carmine responding, yes, but the funds and the resources remain. Hang on, you're not gonna bring the army back again, are you? 15 asks, with Carmine responding, well, it wouldn't do much good with those ferocious fighters waiting to pounce, but what I want to know is what drives those accursed monsters, and how they vex me. So it was King Piccolo and Son Gohan who took down Cell Max in the end, right? 15 went on to ask, with Carmine responding, well, we made ourselves scarce before Cell Max came to life, and so we didn't witness his end with our very own eyes, but assuming that it was those two who triggered his detonation, then we can safely say that so as long as they live, the army cannot be revived. To which, interestingly enough, as number 15 and Carmine remained in traffic, it was only upon them having to look out and seeing something very extraordinary happen before them, with neither of the two happening to believe as to what they were seeing happen before them, as what they just so happened to have been witnessing was none other than Saiyaman X1 and Saiyaman X2 Goten and Trunks being shown getting into action and punching around and coming in between a bunch of bank robbers from stealing money from a bank and having to prevent them from leaving, which just so coincidentally have happened to garner Carmine's attention, and even having to prompt Carmine in exiting his vehicle to see this, because as as Carmine was carefully having to observe as to what was taking place before him, Goten and Trunks by no means were in any sort of trouble in taking their superhero roles once again very seriously, in not only going as far as to demonstrate speed, skill, strength, and of course professionalism, but it was just before you know it, as Carmine had gone out of his vehicle to see what was happening, Goten and Trunks were already then shown having to take care of business that even went as far as to leave Carmine baffled, as not only were Saiyaman X1 and Saiyaman X2 shown having to catch bullets from a gun, knock bank robbers out on down to the ground, and even go as far as to make sure that no money was stolen from the bank and no other civilians were hurt on the street, which subsequently put an end to the bank robber's scheme in having to steal from this specific bank, because with Carmine's jaw on the ground in not believing as to what he was seeing, Goten and Trunks made sure to make quick and easy work of the overall situation by also making sure that nobody else was hurt in the process, as Goten then went on to chime in, "Alright, I don't think there are any more robbers inside either," with Trunks asking, "What gives? Our first mission in forever and it's already over? Man, they went down like wet noodles." "Well, yeah, it's too bad, huh?" Goten questions, with Trunks responding, "Well, maybe we were too eager to kick butt after being away from all that superhero stuff for a long time." "Did you just see those two in action?" Carmine went on to question. "What absurd strength. Could they be the solution?" As Goten and Trunks were from there shown having to hand on over the money to the cops, with Carmine creeping up behind them, in which with Carmine trying to do his best in not having to blow his cover, was when Carmine then went on to respond, "Might we have a little chat over maybe a nice pizza perhaps?" In which that was where everyone was later then having to be shown going, because with Goten and Trunks then being shown eating pizza was when Trunks went on to then question, "So you want us to beat up some nasty bad guy, mister?" "Oh yes, indeed. What do you say? I'll pay any price." "Well, we don't need your money, but any thoughts, X2? It doesn't sound like a particularly heroic mission," Goten responds. "Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing," Trunks chimes in. "The thing is, we help people that are in trouble, mister, you know?" No, of course. I see," Carmine responds. "Well, you two must be scared of this foe, but it's okay. For you play the part of valiant heroes, but you won't dare face anyone out of your league. Do I have that right?" In which Carmine knew that this was going to be their trigger, as Carmine then went on to chime back in, "As alas, even when this villain that I speak of is a threat to all..." "Alright, listen," Mr. Trunks went on to stand up. "Nobody out there is a threat to us, you got that? And we don't run scared, okay?" No, don't trouble yourselves," Carmine responds. "You're loath to risk your lives, I get it." "Well, I don't really think that you get how amazing we are," Goten responds. "Yeah, you need us to prove it, then fine. Who is this evildoer that we're gonna be dealing with?" Trunks went on to then continue. "Well, rumor has it that he and his dastardly allies are plotting world domination." "A major player?" Goten went on to then question. "Whoa, yes, as major as they come, and this shadowy figure has concealed his very existence." "Interesting," Trunks responds. "Well, maybe I could now show off on how awesome I am." You mean to my?" "Well, yeah," Trunks responds. "Well, I mean, you'd need them to film us in action then, right?" As within the quickness, as soon as number 15 was shown having to whip out a camera, was when Goten and Trunks went on to then chime back in. "Well, alright, you've got yourself some heroes then, mister." "Oh, great to hear," Carmine responds. "And of course, you'll need to be well compensated once this foe is dealt with, right?" "Like I said," Trunks responds, "keep your cash." To which shortly after, as Goten and Trunks were shown getting in the back of Carmine's vehicle, as the vehicle was now beginning to take off, we only from that point then make our way on over back onto Beerus's planet, in seeing surprisingly enough another fight take place, except this time, following the previous war that was waged on Beerus's planet involving Goku and Vegeta, this time around, the battle that was shown taking place was involving none other than Vegeta yet again, but this time happens to also include BROLY, which really also goes as far as to demonstrate how strong both Vegeta and Goku respectively have gotten since the days of fighting BROLY during the events of Dragon Ball Super BROLY, because instead of having to look either worried or nervous at the fact that Vegeta was indeed actually going to be fighting BROLY, instead, Vegeta had appeared very confident in his abilities to beat him, to which surprisingly enough it didn't look as though BROLY was actually able to keep up with base Vegeta, which goes as far as to show you the difference in their power, at least now, because the very moment Vegeta had gone as far as to kick Broly away, only for Broly to be shown bouncing right back, was when Broly was then beginning to showcase more of his aggressive side by raining down a hailstorm of energy blasts right down at Vegeta. But rather than be showing having to try and escape Broly's attacks or even counter with his own attacks, what Vegeta ended up doing instead was Vegeta actually ended up standing his ground in having to deflect and smack each and every single one of these blasts away, which even gone as far as to surprise Broly, as Broly was not expecting for Vegeta to do this until it was just like it was shown taking place moments ago with Vegeta being shown getting behind Broly and kicking Broly right back down. The very moment Broly was shown having to hit the floor, you can see the look on Broly's face that he is now beginning to feel tremendous amounts of pain, until it was from out of nowhere, surprisingly enough, Vegeta was already shown having to meet Broly back down by putting his arm around Broly, as Vegeta then went on to respond, "Are you going to snap, Broly?" But Broly was not having it, because even despite with Broly's best attempts in trying to backhand Vegeta across the face with Vegeta being shown leaping away, Broly was quick to go right back on hot pursuit by having to chase Vegeta down, and from that point being shown having to wind his arm back for a massive attack, as it also looked as though Vegeta was going to give it to him, because Vegeta was in fact actually standing his ground in allowing for Broly to do so, until, surprisingly enough, it was just upon the moment of contact with Broly being shown smashing his fist right into Vegeta's face. With Vegeta being the warrior that he is, by no means was he willing to back down, run away, or do anything to kind of avoid this, so instead, you can see his body begin to buckle under the sheer force that Broly had delivered in punching Vegeta square in the face, so much so that even blood was beginning to drip down from Vegeta's face and down onto the ground, until Vegeta was then shown having to smile, which is a clear indicator of Vegeta's ruthless ultra ego nature, given the fact that this was the exact smile that Vegeta had upon even having to fight Granolah, as this bloody smile by and large was the last thing that even Broly himself had expected to see, because even despite the fact that with Vegeta being shown now having to open his eyes and addressing Broly, was when Vegeta then went on to respond, "Anger isn't a bad thing. Rage is the source of a Saiyan's power, in fact. However, your issue is that you lose yourself to it." As with Broly left dumbfounded as to what he was looking at, because he was not expecting for Vegeta to last this long to begin with, was when an aggressive Vegeta was from there shown having to transform into a Super Saiyan, and literally from that point being shown knocking Broly back, which is also another massive surprise considering the difference in power between them at this given point in time now, because even despite with the fact of Broly not willing to back down from Vegeta either, was when Vegeta then went on to respond, "Do not suppress your rage, but instead control it." To where with Vegeta seconds later being shown having to dash towards Broly and attacking him, and also being showcased to be more of the aggressor in this battle between them, was when Vegeta was now clearly shown having to hold the upper hand, and from that point also being shown having to uppercut Broly in the stomach, so much so, mind you, to the point where Broly was now beginning to feel even more pain than how he was shown feeling before, which only had gone as far as to add more fuel onto the fire in showcasing Broly being more aggressive and more angry than how he was shown being before. None of this had seemed to have bothered Vegeta, even despite with the fact that Broly kept coming in and trying to attack him, was when Vegeta then went on to respond, "What's the matter? Can you not wield your full might out of fear that you'll snap?" Which to no avail, because even with Broly attempting to attack Vegeta in the sky with Whis and Goku having to oversee this, was when Goku then went on to chime in, "Oh man, Broly looks like he's about to go nuts again. He's gotta work on that," with Whis questioning, "Is that how it seems? No, he's changed a bit." Which it almost now looks as though Whis was onto something, because even with despite Broly being shown chasing Vegeta, Vegeta seemed as though he wanted to play the evasive game by seeing what Broly was going to do as a means of a response, but even despite with Broly being as big as he was still as agile as Vegeta in being shown bouncing off of Beerus's tree, which really went as far as to catch Vegeta off guard, because Vegeta was not expecting for Broly to do this, so instead, Vegeta had attempted in firing off an energy blast with Broly effortlessly being shown knocking it away, only to from that point have Broly knock Vegeta on down, with Broly going down with him, until, with Broly now noticing that Vegeta was nowhere to be found, only for Vegeta to be shown hiding behind a tree, Vegeta was trying to gauge Broly here and seeing if Broly was able to detect as to where he was, which moments later turned out to be the case, because despite with Broly being shown firing multiple energy blasts within Beerus's forest, Vegeta had attempted in making a run for it just to see if he can use the trees as a means of cover, but despite what it was that Vegeta was trying to get behind, none of it mattered in the end to begin with, because even with Broly shown blasting the entire forest away only to have Vegeta come back out and dashing towards him, was when the two of them were once again shown locked in a very heated exchange, only for the two to be shown then having to break break away, with Goku then having to respond, "Oh yeah, wow, he's really holding his own against Vegeta." Yes, for we've witnessed some growth at last, but the true training has only just begun, Whis continues. "To battle without losing yourself is an achievement," Vegeta went on to acknowledge Broly by powering back down, "but you seem a little unable to unleash your true might. That won't do," Vegeta continues. "Well, what do I do then?" Broly questions. "Well, find the answer yourself," Vegeta shouts. "Hey, I know. Maybe it's kinda like when we have to go Super Saiyan, you know, that same feeling?" "Oh, that's tricky," Broly responds. "Water for you," Lemo says, "and the water for you. And for you too, Broly, so drink up and hang in there," Lemo continues. As with everyone shown taking a water break, only for Sheila to be shown having to insert herself in this conversation was when Sheila went on to then respond, "Ugh, it's like you boys don't have a care in the world. Frieza could show up at any minute, and what then? That new black form of his is no joke, right?" As Goku went on to then pause by then responding, "Well, yeah, it's something else, you know? And I know that he's a bad guy and all, but I'm still really impressed that he went and trained that hard to surpass us." "Oh, you've got something to say, Lord Beerus?" With Beerus responding, "There's always going to be someone or something that's stronger than you, and so keep plugging away with that training, and once you're stronger than me, I'll nominate you as the next god of destruction," Beerus went on to tell Goku, with Goku responding, well, it's like I've told you, that job's not for me. Hey, Whis, did I hear that Earth was on the brink again?" Well, indeed, a fearsome beast dubbed Cell Max had emerged to threaten the planet. "Really, you don't say, and so how do they beat it?" Beerus questions, with Whis responding, "Well, surprisingly, it was Goku's boy Gohan, actually. Along with Piccolo the Namekian, they led the triumphant charge against that monster," with Beerus questioning, "Goku's son, this guy's a dad? Well, do you mean to say that you've forgotten about Gohan?" "Let's see, well, I guess he doesn't leave much of an impression, so no." And according to Bulma, Vegeta went on to chime in, "Gohan may have surpassed even us in this particular battle, Kakarot." "You mean it? Well, I wish I could have been there, and it must have been during me and Vegeta's duel, so we didn't sense his ki." "Well, indeed," Vegeta responds, "the duel which you lost to me." Oh, a highlight of your lifetime, huh, Vegeta? As all the while in the meantime, when then venturing back on over to Earth and seeing as to how number 15 and Carmine had now driven up to Gohan's house, was when Carmine then went on to ask, "Are we here? Is this the villain's lair?" Sure, 15 responds. "Excellent. Well, summon him out here for us then, number 15. Do I gotta?" "Well, worry not, for we have the Saiyaman X duo on our side." But my last visit here didn't end so hot." "Oh, you coward." To which moments later, as soon as Carmine was shown exiting the car and drawing his gun forward and shooting all around Gohan's house, even the boys themselves were terrified after having to see this, with Gohan being shown having to pop out from his window and then asking, "Whoa, what's going on?" "Ah, there you are, son Gohan." And without having to waste a second, upon having to see Gohan jump out of the window was when Carmine then began to shoot directly at Gohan. But despite with Gohan being shown catching each and every single bullet that Carmine shot, was when Gohan then went on to shout, "Hey, would you mind not doing that? Oh, wait. Oh, it's you people again. And you're here to kidnap my pan a second time? Not on my watch," Gohan utters. "Never. Never!" To which within that very moment, once again, just as we've seen be done against Cell Max, was when Gohan had erupted with absolute fury in thinking about his daughter and transcending back into his beast form, with Gohan now meaning serious business, as by no means is he going to allow for his daughter to be kidnapped again, to which the very second Goten and Trunks were then shown having to see what Gohan did and having to duck under their seats, the two boys by no means wanted any sort of part of this to begin with, as the boys went on to then utter, "That's crazy! He's going beast mode like it's nothing! What do we do?" As all the way back on Beerus' planet, as Gohan was then shown having to do this, was when Goku and Vegeta had gone as far as to sense Gohan, and from that point even going as far as to put their food down, as Vegeta quickly went on to then respond, "Kakarot, do you feel that?" "Yeah, we know that ki," Goku responds, to which little by little, as Beast Gohan was slowly beginning to approach Carmine, with Carmine trying to do his best in getting back inside of his car, Gohan by no means was going to stick around and having to wait for Carmine to go anywhere, as Carmine then went on to shout to the kids, "It's showtime! He's the target! Go eliminate him! Go, go, go!" But the second Gohan had reached the car door and noticing that Goten and Trunks were behind it was when the boys absolutely had a heart attack and having to greet Gohan, with Gohan having to ask, "Goten? Trunks? Whoa, 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 no real names, come on, you'll blow our secret identities." "Why are you with them?" Gohan shouts. What's going on around here? Explain, now!" You see, what had happened was, but then, it was only from out of nowhere, just within that very moment, as Goku had then gone as far as to use instant transmission in making his presence known, was when Gohan went on to then shout, "Dad! Hey there, boys, it's been too long," Goku says. As with Goku now shown having to wave his sons down by having to finally make his way back on over to Earth, it was only right then and there where Dragon Ball Super Manga chapter number 101 then comes to a close. Now, you can make no mistake about the fact that now finally, after having to endure everything that was from the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie retelling, we finally get to now collectively see as to what happens after the events of Cell Max's inevitable defeat by the hands of Beast Gohan, only to now gain a better understanding and learning more about where our heroes currently stand on the totem pole of power, but also seeing Vegeta go at it with Broly the way he did really goes as far as to show you as to how strong our heroes have gotten since the initial events of having to encounter Broly on Earth, on top of the fact of having to see Goku rush on back over to Earth as soon as he found out that Gohan did in fact actually harbor a deeper power than what he assumed he did. What I would like to do now is get your thoughts and opinions as to how you guys personally felt about this manga chapter, beginning with question number 1, and that is on a rating scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being absolute garbage and with 5 being phenomenal, what would you guys rank Dragon Ball Super Manga chapter number 101 and why? Question number 2 is, what exactly do you guys expect to see come from Gohan and Goku's encounter now that Goku has returned back on over to Earth, which more specifically begs the question on if you guys believe that Goku is going to challenge Gohan to see more of his beast power, or if you simply believe that Goku's going to want to take Gohan on over to Beerus's planet and do some training on there. And lastly, question number 3 is, do you guys believe that this is going to be the definitive Black Frieza arc that many people have wanted to see, or is this somehow going to be a prelude or maybe a different arc before the events of Black Frieza's re-entry? So again, this was, at least for me, a very refreshing start to the Dragon Ball Super manga, only because we've had to sit through the entirety of a movie retelling which mostly 99% of the entire community never had wanted to see to begin with and actually got bored of very quick. So the entirety of what took place involving Vegeta and Broly was really cool. I think that the opening act involving Carmine and number 15, Saiyaman X1 and Saiyaman X2 was a bit of a snooze and a bit underwhelming, only because we've been there, done that. Although it was cool to see how Carmine kind of lied to the boys to begin with, it was really cool to also see how Gohan didn't forget about his beastly nature and being able to actually use that power again. So with that, we're gonna have to wait and see where this goes moving forward. So once more, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you all so very much for your time, to which once more, if you also just so happen to be new to the channel, then I do encourage for you all to go on over and smash that subscribe button, on top of giving this video a big fat thumbs up by smashing that like button down below. Tune back in for more. Thank you all once again for your time, and with all that being said, I will be seeing each and every single one of you down in the comment section below and in the next video. Take it easy, guys, and have a great day. Peace.
Hello. Did you know that you can stay up to date with the latest Dragon Ball content by simply subscribing to UnrealEntGaming?
Also, don't forget to follow on these social media platforms, you sexy son of a bitch.
Roshi.
Silent Cell, me and the fans are having a moment. That's right. I know what you want. Extra long, thick Dragon Ball content. Quality reviews with flawless editing. Yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? You dirty bitch.
Roshi, the fuck?
God damn it, I need them to subscribe, Cell.
And we're demonetized.
Yeah, screw it. Let's cut to the video.